Mary Anning is a fascinating figure in the history of paleontology. Her journey into paleontology is a compelling story shaped by her early life experiences and environment. Born on May 21, 1799, in Lyme Regis, England, Mary Anning was born to a poor family. She was the fifth of 10 children born to Richard Anning, a cabinetmaker, and Mary Molly Anning. Unfortunately, only 2 of the Anning children survived to adulthood, Mary and her older brother, Joseph. The Anning family lived in poverty, and Richard supplemented the family's income by collecting and selling fossils he found on the nearby cliffs. From a young age, Mary accompanied her father on his fossil hunting expeditions. The cliffs of Lyme Regis, part of the Jurassic coast, were rich with fossils from the Jurassic period, approximately 201 to 145 million years ago. These expeditions were a means of financial support for the family and sparked Mary's lifelong fascination with fossils and the ancient creatures they represented. Tragedy struck the Anning family in 1810 when Richard Anning died of tuberculosis, leaving the family in dire financial straits. Mary, then only 11 years old, took on the responsibility of supporting her family. She and her brother Joseph continued their father's fossil collecting business, scouring the cliffs for specimens to sell to tourists and collectors. Mary Anning's first significant discovery came in 1811 when she was just 12 years old. While exploring the cliffs with Joseph, she uncovered the skull of an enormous marine reptile. Over several months, Mary painstakingly excavated the rest of the skeleton, revealing a creature unlike any known at the time. This specimen was later identified as an Ichthyosaurus, a marine reptile that lived during the Mesozoic era. The discovery of the Ichthyosaurus was a major scientific breakthrough, challenging existing beliefs about the history of life on Earth and providing evidence for the concept of extinction. Despite the significance of her discoveries, Mary Anning faced considerable challenges. As a woman in early 19th century England, she was excluded from the scientific community and had limited access to formal education. Her gender and social class meant that her contributions were often overlooked or credited to male scientists who purchased her specimens. Nonetheless, Mary's expertise and meticulous work gained her respect among those who recognized her talents. One of her most notable discoveries came in 1823, when she was 23 years old, when she unearthed the first complete Plesiosaurus skeleton. The Plesiosaurus was another marine reptile, characterized by its long neck and broad, flat body. This discovery was met with skepticism by some scientists, who doubted the existence of such an unusual creature. However, the detailed and complete nature of the specimen eventually convinced the scientific community of its authenticity. The Plesiosaurus find further cemented Anning's reputation as a skilled and knowledgeable fossil hunter. In 1828, Anning made another groundbreaking discovery, the first complete skeleton of a pterosaur, a flying reptile from the Mesozoic era. This specimen, known as Pterodactylus, later reclassified as Dimorphodon, was the first evidence of a flying reptile found outside of Germany, where the first pterosaur fossils had been discovered. This find added to the growing body of evidence that a wide variety of prehistoric creatures had once inhabited the Earth. Anning's discoveries were not limited to large vertebrates. She also made significant contributions to the understanding of invertebrate fossils, such as ammonites and belemnites. Her careful observations and detailed notes on these specimens helped scientists understand the diversity and complexity of ancient marine ecosystems. Despite her remarkable contributions, Mary Anning faced numerous challenges throughout her life. The scientific community of the early 19th century was dominated by men, and women were generally excluded from formal scientific societies and institutions. Anning's lack of formal education and her working-class background further marginalized her within the scientific community. However, Anning's expertise could not be ignored. Prominent scientists and geologists of the time, such as William Buckland, Richard Owen, and Henry de la Beche, recognized her talents and sought her assistance in their research. De la Beche painted the earliest widely known picture depicting a scene from prehistoric life adapted from fossil reconstructions in his painting Duria Antiquaire. He based the painting primarily on fossils that Anning had discovered and sold prints of the painting to support Anning. Although she rarely received formal credit for her discoveries, her work was instrumental in advancing the field of paleontology. In 1838, the British Association for the Advancement of Science awarded Anning a modest annual stipend in recognition of her contributions to science. This recognition, though limited, was a testament to her importance in the field. Additionally, the Geological Society of London, which she was not permitted to join because she was a woman, acknowledged her contributions indirectly through the work of its members who relied on her specimens and expertise. Mary Anning's legacy extends far beyond her lifetime. Her discoveries and meticulous documentation of fossils provided crucial evidence for the emerging theories of evolution and the history of life on Earth. Her work challenged prevailing scientific views and laid the groundwork for future generations of paleontologists. Anning's contributions were instrumental in the development of the concept of extinction, which was still a controversial idea in the early 19th century. Her discoveries of extinct marine reptiles, such as Ichthyosaurus and Plesiosaurus, provided concrete evidence that species could disappear from the Earth. This idea was further developed by scientists like Georges Cuvier, who is often credited with establishing the concept of extinction in the scientific community. In addition to her scientific contributions, Mary Anning's story has inspired generations of scientists, particularly women, to pursue careers in fields that were once dominated by men. Her determination, curiosity, and resilience in the face of adversity serve as a powerful example of what can be achieved through passion and perseverance. In recent years, Anning's contributions have received greater recognition. In 2010, the Royal Society included her in a list of the 10 most influential British women in the history of science. These efforts have helped to bring her story to a wider audience and ensure that her contributions to science are remembered and celebrated. Mary Anning is a fascinating figure.